Irish Setter. The Irish Setter, Irish, Sotarua, literally red setter, is a setter, a breed of gun dog, and family dog. The term Irish Setter is commonly used to encompass the show-bred dog recognized by the American Kennel Club as well as the field-bred red setter recognized by the Field Dog Stud Book. Description. Appearance. The coat is moderately long, silky, and of a red or chestnut color. It requires frequent brushing to maintain its condition and keep it mat-free. The undercoat is abundant in winter weather, and the top coat is fine. Their coats should also feather in places such as the tail, ears, chest, legs, and body. Irish Setters range in height from 24 to 28 inches, 61 to 71 centimeters, males weigh 65 to 75 pounds, 29 to 34 kilograms, and females 55 to 65 pounds, 25 to 29 kilograms. The FCI breed standard for the Irish Setter stipulates males stand 23 to 26.5 inches, 58 to 67 centimeters, tall, and females be 21.5 to 24.5 inches, 55 to 62 centimeters, tall. Irish Setters are deep-chested dogs with small waists. An Irish Setter's life expectancy tends to be around 11 to 12 years. Temperament. Irish Setters get along well with children, other dogs, and will enthusiastically greet visitors. Even though they do well with household pets, small animals may pose a problem for this breed, as they are a hunting breed. Some Irish Setters may have problems with cats in the house, and may be too rambunctious with small children. As the FCI, ANKC and UK standards state, the breed should be demonstrably affectionate. As a result, Irish Setters make excellent companion animals and family pets. Irish Setters are an active breed, and require long, daily walks and off-lead running in wide, open spaces. They are, however, a breed with a tendency to play deaf, so careful training on mastering the recall should be undertaken before allowing them off-lead. Irish Setters enjoy having a job to do. Lack of activity will lead to a bored, destructive, or even hyperactive dog. This is not a breed that can be left alone in the backyard for long periods of time, nor should they be. Irish Setters thrive on constant human companionship. Irish Setters respond swiftly to positive training and are highly intelligent. Though they are usually alert to their surroundings, Irish Setters are not well suited as guard dogs, as they are not a naturally assertive breed. Irish Setters are also widely used as therapy dogs in schools and hospitals. Therapy dogs are permitted in hospitals with special permission and can visit patients on the assigned floors. In schools, the dogs may be used to create a calming and relaxed environment. A child may read to a dog without being corrected or judged. History. One of the first references to the setter, or setting dog, in literature can be found in Keys's De Canibus Britannicus, which was published in 1570, with a revised version published in 1576. Translated from the original Latin, the text reads: "It would be incorrect to assume the dog described above in any way resembles the Irish Setter, or any setter, as we know the breed today." Keys was referring to a type of setting spaniel, most likely now extinct. The description of the work undertaken by this early pillar of the breed resembles the working behavior of modern Irish Setters. Of this early dog, Keys went on to write, "The most part of their skin is white, and if they are marked with any spots, they are commonly red, and somewhat great therewithal. If this is the case, it is safe to assume the solid red coloring of today's Irish Setter came about by selective breeding practices." Further reference to setters in early literature can be found in The Country Farm by Surflet and Markham, published in 1616. They wrote, "There is also another sort of land spaniels which are called setters." It is clear that, by the early 18th century, the type of dog known as the setter had come into its own right. It is also clear the Irish had begun actively breeding their own type. For example, the Dufresne family of French Park began keeping detailed stud records in 1793. Other prominent landed Irish gentry also known to have been breeding setter lines at the same time include Lord Clancarty, Lord Dillon, and the Marquis of Waterford. It was noted as early as 1845 that setters in Ireland were predominantly either red, or, according to Hewitt, very red, or red and white, or lemon-colored, or white patched with deep chestnut. Clearly, the preference for a solid red-colored dog was having an effect on the appearance of the typical Irish-bred setter. The breed standard for the modern Irish Setter was first drawn up by the Irish Red Setter Club in Dublin and approved on March 29, 1886. It consisted of a 100-point scale, with a given number of points awarded for each of the dog's physical attributes. The point system was later dropped, however, aside from some minor changes, the standard remains largely unchanged today in most countries where the breed is formally recognized. Uses. The Irish Setter was bred for hunting, specifically for setting or locating and pointing upland game birds. They are a tireless, wide-ranging hunter, and well-suited to fields and wet or dry moorland terrain. Using their excellent sense of smell to locate the mark, or bird, the Irish Setter will then hold a pointing position, indicating the direction in which the bird lies hidden. The Irish Setter was brought to the United States in the early 19th century. In 1874, the American Field put together the Field Dog Studbook and Registry of Dogs in the United States was born. The FDSB is the oldest purebred registry in the United States. At that time, dogs could be registered even when bred from sires and dams of different breeds. At about this time, the Llewellyn Setter was bred using bloodlines from the Laverock breeding of English Setter and, among other breeds, bloodlines from native Irish Setters. Around the same time, the Red Irish Setter became a favorite in the dog show ring. The Irish Setter of the late 19th century was not just a red dog. The AKC registered Irish Setters in a myriad of colors. Frank Forrester, a 19th century sports writer, described the Irish Setter as follows: "The points of the Irish Setter are more bony, angular, and wiry frame, a longer head, a less silky and straighter coat than those of the English. His color ought to be a deep orange, red and white. A common mark is a stripe of white between the eyes and a white ring around the neck, white stockings, and a white tugget to the tail." The setter that was completely red, however, was preferred in the show ring, and that is the direction that the breed took. Between 1874 and 1948, the breed produced 760 conformation show champions, but only 5 field champions. In the 1940s, Field and Stream magazine put into writing what was already a well-known fact. The Irish Setter was disappearing from the field and an outcross would be necessary to resurrect the breed as a working dog. Sports Afield chimed in with a similar call for an outcross. Ned Logrand of Pennsylvania spent a small fortune purchasing examples of the last of the working Irish Setters in America and importing dogs from overseas. With the blessing of the Field Dog Studbook, he began an outcross to red and white field champion English Setters. The National Red Setter Field Trial Club was created to test the dogs and to encourage breeding toward a dog that would successfully compete with the white setters. Thus the modern Red Setter was born and the controversy begun. Prior to 1975, a relationship existed between the AKC and the Field Dog Studbook in which registration with one body qualified a dog for registration with the other. In 1975, the Irish Setter Club of America petitioned the AKC to deny reciprocal registration, and the AKC granted the request. It is claimed, by critics of the move, that the pressure was placed on the AKC by bench show enthusiasts who were unappreciative of the outcrossing efforts of the National Red Setter Field Trial Club, as well as some AKC field trialers following a series of losses to FDSB Red Setters. Working Irish Setter kennels today field champion dogs that claim lines from both the FDSB dogs and AKC dogs. Working Red Setter. The modern Red Setter is smaller than its bench-bred cousin. While show dogs often reach 70 pounds, 32 kilograms, the working Red Setter is generally around 45 pounds, 20 kilograms. The coat is less silky and the feathering is generally shorter. The color is lighter, with the working dog found in russet and fawn colors. The Red Setter often has patches of white on its face and chest as the Irish Setter of old did. There have been efforts to rekindle the field abilities of the true type Irish by a handful of dedicated breeders in California and elsewhere with some success. More than a dozen AKC dual champion Irish Setters have been made, evidence of the dog's native ability when proper traits are selectively sought in breeding. Health. Irish Setters tend to be a relatively healthy breed. Problems that have been noted in Irish Setters include hip dysplasia, cancer, progressive retinal atrophy, PRA, epilepsy, entropion, hypothyroidism, hyperosteodystrophy, gastric dilatation volvulus, bloat, osteosarcoma, von Willebrand's disease, patent ductus arteriosus, canine leukocyte adhesion deficiency, CLAD, and celiac disease. Irish Setters are now one of the few breeds for which genetic tests have been developed to detect the presence of both CLAD and PRA, RCD1. Gluten intolerance in Irish Setters is a naturally occurring genetic disorder that is the result of a single autosomal recessive locus. At around 6 months of age, Irish setters with this condition will develop an increased immune cell presence and a decrease in absorption within the small intestine when fed a gluten-containing diet. These effects lead to further damage of the small intestine as well as malnutrition and diarrhea. Irish setters that are fed a gluten-free diet have been shown to be exempt from any effects associated with gluten intolerance. Miscellaneous. Bus Éireann, the national bus company in Ireland, uses the Irish setter as its corporate logo. Notable setters as its corporate logo. Notable setters.